ago.
50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow in which we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. And in this momentous decree there came a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who were being seared in the flames of unwithering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro is still not free. 100 years later, the Negro is still sadly crippled in the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty and in the vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society, finds himself exiled in his own land. So we have come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we have come to our nation's capital to cash this check. When architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words, the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, be granted the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted this promissory note, and so far her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has
Given the
Negro a bad check. A bad check that has been marked insufficient funds.
Good.
Insufficient funds.
But we refuse
to believe
that the bank...
that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity in this nation. So we've come here today to give this check, a check that will give us upon the demands of riches of freedom and the security of justice. We've also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the great urgency of now.
This is no time.
This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of grandiloquence. Now is the time to make the real promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and dissolute path of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksand of racial injustice to the rock of brotherhood, the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment. This wilting summer of the Negro's ligament discontent will not pass until there is an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. 1936 is not an end, but a beginning. Those who hope that the Negro needed to blow off steam will not be content and will have a rude awakening if business returns to usual.
There will be neither rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is given his citizenship rights. The whirlwinds of revolt will keep on shaking the foundations of our nation until the bright day of justice and liberty. But there is something that I must say to my people who stand on the warm threshold which leads to the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of any wrongful deeds. Let's not drink the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever
conduct our high place
of dignity and
discipline. The marvelous.
Says we must not allow our creative.
We must not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical violence.
Good.
Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights, meeting physical force with soul force.
Good.
The marvelous new militancy, which has engulfed the Negro community, must not lead us
to a district of all white people. For as many as our white brothers today, as evinced as they are here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny. Their freedom is eternally bound up with our freedom. We cannot walk alone. And as we walk, we must march ahead. We cannot turn back. There are those who are asking the devotees of civil rights, when will you be satisfied? We will never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of police brutality.
Yes. Unspeakable horrors of police brutality.
Unspeakable horrors of police brutality. We will never be satisfied as long as our bodies heavy with the fatigue
of
traveling cannot gain lodging in the motels of the highways and the hotels of the cities. We will never be satisfied as long as a Negro in Mississippi believes he cannot vote and a Negro in New York believes he has nothing for which to vote. No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until the bright day of justice rolls down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream.
I am not unmindful.
I'm not unmindful that some of you have come fresh from narrow jail cells. Some of you have come from areas where your quest for freedom has left you battered by the winds of persecution and the storms.
Go ahead, Judah. You're doing good.
And the storms
persecution.
Persecution.
And the winds of police brutality.
Yeah. And the winds of police brutality.
Oh, you have been the veterans.
Oh, you have been the veterans of creative suffering. Continue to work with faith that redemptive suffering is unfaithful.
It says, continue to work with the faith that unearned suffering is redemptive. Is that the end?
Yeah.
That's okay.